Do you guys know the word Freudian? Do you guys know what that means? Well, let me tell you something. The word Freudian is used to refer or to, go back to the ideas of Sigmund Freud. Now, if you guys don't know who Sigmund Freud is, I'm gonna give you guys 2 seconds to look him up. Alright, basically, this man was a mega freak, okay? This man was the freakiest of freaks. And essentially, his theories and work evolves around the human psyche and how it relates to sexuality. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, if if you like to suck on them titties, you know what I'm saying? It's just because you had a pacifier for too long when you were a child. Shit like that. It's very work. It's actually really good. And if you passed high school, you know what the theories are. But why this is important is because we're talking about Daniel Caesar's album Fidian, which I would say is the perfect name for the album. And the reason why I say that is because it connects back to the ideas of sexuality, but also connecting it back to, our human psyche, connecting everyday things like love or is it lust or is it pain back to our human sexuality. And so today's video, I'm here to talk about Daniel Caesar and this amazing album, because truly Freudian, it transcends a vibe of, thinking. It makes you, ponder about who you are as a person. And this is why I really enjoyed this album, and I'm here to talk about it with you guys. So let's get in. Now, the first song I feel like I'm obligated to talk about because it's the hit song everyone knows, and plus it's just a really good song. Get You is that representation of praising a loved one, and the way he's praising it is almost as if he feels like he doesn't deserve her. You know what I'm saying? He's talking about, through drought and famine, angels be calling and whatnot, and this is his saving point. And I want to connect to back to the ideas of what Freudian is trying to progress on, and essentially it's the fact that this person is such a high point in your life, and this is where the sexuality shit comes in. You know what I'm saying? It could be because heaven's between her legs, but to be fair, he was smooth with it in this song, so I'm not too pressed about that idea. But Get You is a beautiful slow ballad about Daniel Caesar really praising whoever this person is, a little shorty or whatnot. And this is honestly, this song is peak when I'm talking about when you're like, if you ever sat in a car and it's like sunset and you're just, you're at a park or some shit like that, you're looking at the fucking sun set down and you with her, like y'all sit in the car, she in the passenger seat. This is the perfect song to play Thank Me Later. But essentially, Get You is a very straight to the point song, so there's not much messaging, but basically it accentuates the idea that this person is so great in your life that you feel like personally this is a gift, and it's a very undeserved gift in a way where you're so amazed about how this person came into your life, but you don't feel like you work towards it. And that's like, that's the hidden wonders. And Kelly Uchis on this song, beautiful. Her and her vocals, both beautiful. Because come on now, Kelly bad. But yeah, Get You, it's very clear why this is his most popular song. Cause get you really, you know what I'm saying, get you in the mood type shit. But yeah. Alright, so for this segment, usually I cover one single song, but I feel like I wouldn't do it justice because We Found Love and Blessed, it's kind of like a and B side. I'm pretty sure they even said that in like the notes or whatnot, but it just makes more sense to put them together because those two songs tell a singular picture. And so let's talk about We Found Love. We Found Love is essentially two lovers that, you know, that fell apart for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying, for whatever messed up reason, but it's him reminding the other person that, yo, we found something here. And that's essentially what We Found Love is basically that point where, yes, we fucked up, yes, there's things that happen, but we still managed to find love, you know what I'm saying. And this it entails, like, you know, the idea of like going through hardship, especially in relationships where it almost feels like it's easier to just leave than just to try to mend things. But this is like, you know what I'm saying, there's a point in your life where you have to realize, bro, we're both fucked up, but somehow we made this shit work for a period of time. And that's when Blessed comes in, and I feel like it's a kind of the aftermath where even though we were fucked up and, you know what I'm saying, we're toxic, or, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of work to be in this relationship, I feel blessed to even be stuck with you, you know what I'm saying. If there was going to be a person that I have to deal with the bullshit with, I'd much rather deal with your bullshit. And so that's essentially why I feel like these two songs have to kind of go together in a way where it's just one song encapsulates the idea of, you know, we're going through a hardship, but we still made it. And then the second part is the appreciation of it, where I appreciate that we still made it out, you know what I'm saying. And why I put these two songs together is because it paints the picture of being in a rocky, you know, a little toxic, you know what I'm saying, situation, because at the end of the day, no relationship is ever going to be perfect, right? Some people, they fight, some people is cool, but it's your guys' relationship, and it's how you make it work out that really matters. And I feel like these two songs encapsulates the idea where if y'all, you know what I'm saying, you could be in a relationship and you could be going through a hardship, but there's a reason why you guys together in the first place. There was a reason why y'all were, you know what I'm saying, united in the first place. And it also reminds you to show gratitude, you know what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of different people. I'll tell you this right now, every single girl in your life is gonna have their own problems. You just gotta pick and choose which bullshit you want to deal with, because, you know what I'm saying, like, you just because you escape one, you know what I'm saying, one girl who's crazy, don't mean the next one is gonna be less crazy. So it's kind of that, you know what I'm saying, pick and choose your battles, but understand the reasons why you fell in love with that person, but also show them gratitude that you're still with them, you know. The next song that, you know, I'm gonna be covering is Loose, which is essentially that, you know what I'm saying, it's that little friendly reminder, bro. It could be all sunshines and rainbows, but once you're with that girl, it starts to get a little cloudy, you know what I'm saying. You hear a little thunder, a little rain and shit. Maybe she the bad luck. I'm not saying nothing, but, you know what I'm saying, if you having a good day and she over here fucking that shit up, you better cut that girl loose. And that's basically the idea of this song. This song is basically telling you, and it's giving you a reminder, bro, like, if shit not adding up, you know what I'm saying, you're trying to have a good day and she's bringing that bad juju and shit, I think it's best to cut things loose. And that's to say of dragging on like these toxic relationships. And it's very, very important to do so, because a lot of people, they will let these toxic relationships drag out, and more often than not, they ruin your life more times than not. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. We just talk about how you have to work out your relationships and, you know, your problems and stuff like that. But like, there's a point where you have to realize when it's a constant. When you're constantly arguing. When you're constantly doing this. When, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not lying, because I know some of you guys be like this. If you with a girl and she constantly piss you the fuck off, and I'm not talking about like some, oh yeah, she annoys me, but like, there's some guys that be in a relationship and like the girl pisses him off to a point where like he like contemplates to, like, you know what I'm saying, put his hands on her, which I do not condone that shit. Do not fucking put your hands on no fucking woman. But I know guys that would be in a relationship wanting to fucking punch their girl. What's the point? What's the point? Why are you in this relationship to begin with? Because it's very clear you don't fucking love her. So yeah. And it's like the idea of like being too comfortable with a person, and that's I'll tell you this now, that is the worst fear you could ever have of being in a relationship, where you're so comfortable with this person, when it just turns completely sour, you're so afraid to fucking let go. And this is Daniel Caesar's way of telling you, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for her. Because if she's constantly bringing this negativity, you better cut her loose. Cut her, you know what I'm saying? Like, let her go, because it don't help nobody. It don't help nobody. If you have these constant thoughts of, you know, anger and, you know what I'm saying, violence, yo, cut her off, bro. It's better off being alone than having these thoughts. It's better off being sad and lonely than having to always be angry and upset. You get me? So like, it's just a reminder. You know, if she pisses you off, and you know what I'm saying, you're constantly pissed off, you know, I just think it's not the best time to be in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So just reminder. And I'm telling you, because you will know when it's time to cut people off. It's just that you're too scared. And I'm just saying, you better cut her loose. Now, the last song that I'm be covering is Freudian, which is one of those, you know what I'm saying, like those songs where there's a lot to unpack here. And this is going to take, you know what I'm saying, a little while, but it's alright. You know what I'm saying? So from what I've been researching, what I've been hearing, my 2 years and stuff like that, essentially there's kind of two ways to kind of just interpret the song, where no matter which way you go with it, it's still a sincerity in his life. Like, you know what I'm saying, the song is very sincere and is very passionate in a way where he's being honest, and depending on your mood, you could take it each way, right? So the first way, that the first time I was hearing it, was kind of his appraisal to his mom, in a way where he's praising her on, you know, giving him the strength and giving him life to, you know, physically do the things, you know what I'm saying, like a mother saving his life, and thanking her for all the advice. And essentially this song is about, you know, going through hardships with your mother, which, let's be honest here, who hasn't gone through those hard times with your mom? Especially when you're a teen and shit like that, you're all emotional and shit, and you know what I'm saying, I don't know, sometimes your relationship with your parents isn't the best, but you know, it's the idea, like, yeah, we've been through these hard things, but I still want to give you those praisals where you deserve it, because at the end of the day, that's his mother, and you can understandably so, like, you know what I'm saying, he learned so much from her, and she's given so much, and you have to understand, like, from the point of view of this path, Like it's almost like a very loving and grateful song where you see he's very grateful for the things that he's received and got throughout his life. Now for the second way though, it's kind of him addressing a, you know what I'm saying, a lover or whatnot, and you flip it around, it's not too sunny, you know what I'm saying? So the second way you could look at it is him kind of addressing a lover where their relationship is not the best, and he expresses the hardships of, you know what I'm saying, of the relationship in ways where it's almost like he's trying to ask for forgiveness in a way where he understands that like he's fucked up, there's a lot of things, and you know what I'm saying, there's too much going on, this, that, and the third, but he wants to still give, you know what I'm saying, his love to this person. And that's kind of the idea where, you know what I'm saying, I like the usage of saying thank you for saving my life and thank you for all your advice, because in a way you learn from both ways, you know what I'm saying? Like from obviously from his mother, she's going to give him guidance and she's going to give him love. I mean, what mother wouldn't? But secondly, from the lover's perspective, you're gonna look at it that way, all that pain and hardship, you learn from that. You learn from sacrifices, and you learn from, you know, the idea of, oh, you know what I'm saying, we're both hurting, how do we make it better? And it's very sincere in that way where it's like a broken man and you finally accept, okay, I'm not the best. And so essentially he's trying to make things back up. And he, you know what I'm saying, even if the relationship is broken, you still have to give her flowers in a way where I've learned so much from you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've learned so much. I figure out, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third. And yeah, it's very nice. And then the part two of this song, because this, like, it kind of has two parts. It gets separated by, you know, the outro or whatnot. But part two, when he's talking about human sacrifice, essentially is, you could look at it like different ways, but I looked at it like human sacrifice isn't, you know, like essentially him making a human sacrifice. He's not fucking doing black magic, okay? Stuff for the law. But essentially what human sacrifice is him sacrificing who he is as a person, his physical being, right? But also there's a human sacrifice of his kind of consciousness, right? And this is where the whole Freudian thing comes all full circle, where, you know what I'm saying, if you guys know from fucking, you know, psychology class, you have the id, the ego, and the superego, and essentially, like, you know what I'm saying, human sacrifice in the id, the primal needs, right? Like, he's sacrificing his body, you know what I'm saying, his time, his energy, he's sacrificing, you know what I'm saying, doing this and that. But there's also a human sacrifice in the psyche, the superego, where it's your moral compass. Like, you're sacrificing, what do I give up for the things that I want, you know what I'm saying? And that's the way I look at it, where he's making a sacrifice of two kinds of either his physical well-being, where he's probably not taking the best care of himself, or, you know what I'm saying, he's put blood, sweat, and tears into his dreams and his goals, but also kind of inside his head, like, he's sacrificing, you know what I'm saying, being on the moral straight path, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you know, sometimes you have to cross the line. It's not always black and white when it comes to things like this, where you have to sacrifice some things, and it might go against what you believe in and who you believe in as a person, right? It might go against, you know, your morals or whatnot. Like, it's like the idea of, you know, stealing. Like, stealing is bad, but if you're stealing for the poor, how much, you know what I'm saying, how bad is it? And essentially, I feel like that the human sacrifice part, and he repeats this like multiple times, and he gives like different examples in the ways where, you know what I'm saying, like, it's expected that he was talking about an abortion. I don't know how much of that is true, but he's talking about how the consequences is too expensive. And you could take that either a literal or in like a figurative way, where abortions cost money. but figuratively, like, shit is expensive, as in, bro, like, a lot of mothers regret having abortions after. And you have to understand, him as a soon to be father, it also will take a toll on him too, because you was expected to have life on this earth, but then now it's gone. And like, people don't realize that, where your physical actions also have a mental action, like, you know what I'm saying, a mental repercussion in a sorts. So I really believe that Freudian is a type of song where you kind of have to listen to a multiple, like, you know, multiple times, and you have to listen to it in multiple different perspectives, because the way you hear the song, and what perceived path that you choose to, like, you know what I'm saying, want to follow, it kind of changes kind of the mood of the song. It's actually it's really nice. I like the way he composed the song, because essentially it could be a, you know what I'm saying, more of a happier, slower, upbeat song, or, you know what I'm saying, it could be a slower, you know, a little bit sincere, honest, he's down and about type of song. So Freudian's a really good song. But not enough people, I don't think, really talk about this song. It really gets overshadowed by the other songs in this album, but I really believe this song is one of those songs where it's a thinking piece. Like, it's essentially a thinking piece of a song. So yeah, that's my take on Freudian. So in conclusion, I believe that Freudian is an album which essentially accentuates the idea of what our everyday lives entails when it comes to being in relationships, or being in, you know, the limelight, and how it balances between the ideas of what you physically are doing, and also what is mentally doing to you as a person. And I would say a huge message of the album is kind of the idea of praising loved ones, where, you know what I'm saying, it's not very common that we don't think about things like that, where we don't really, you know, take time to praise the loved ones that we have in our lives. And I just want to say that this album gives you, you know, kind of just room for thought of, you know, praising for the love, and praising, you know, for the things that you have, especially in the relationships. If, you know what I'm saying, you might have the rockiest relationships, you might have, you know, tricky situations where it is pain. There's gonna be things that you have to sacrifice. There's gonna be things where, you know what I'm saying, you have to give up some things. But in life, that's what you have to do. You can't really go past that idea of getting things whenever you want with no cost. Shit is gonna be expensive, you know. Your dreams, they're gonna cost a lot. And it's not just, you know, physical time and, you know, your health and your well-being. It's also your mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like, mentally, what does these things do for you? And you can't really, you know what I'm saying, you can't really put a price on things like that, where, you know, you could be tired, but if it means your happiness, what does, you know what I'm saying, what does it really cost? So I believe that Freudian is a thought-provoking album, in a sense where how does the physical things connect with what you are dealing with mentally. So essentially, yeah, I think this album is amazing, and I believe you guys should listen to it too. Shit.